Welcome to Make It Rain with Adam Schein on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Oh, yes, Wednesday edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein here on VSiN. And my goodness, there's so much going on in the world of sports, so much to bet on. We have an unbelievable show for you today. I am honestly sick to my stomach and repulsed by what transpired with Luka Doncic getting thrown out of that ball game last night. And honestly, that's dreadful for the league. It's dreadful for sports bettors. It's dreadful on so many different levels, and we have a lot to say. It was a dreadful night if you had the Timberwolves last night. My goodness, we will get into the wild, wild west in the NBA. John Maginnes from SiriusXM is going to join us live from Augusta. Looking forward to that. There is going to be a really interesting discussion later in the show on Jackson Darts and where he is going to end up and why you should take over 2.5 quarterbacks to get drafted in the first round of the upcoming NFL draft. So that'll be a big topic for conversation. We'll get into some crazy hockey from last night. There's so much to do in the world of sports, and you know by now I love baseball, I love day ball, I love day baseball betting. It keeps you going, it gets you fired up, and it's always fun. And we have some live afternoon betting updates and some themes and some takes and some plays. And we're going to free baseball in Pittsburgh. I mean, the Pirates, basically they have a roster that's playing for free based upon their payroll. I feel bad for the Pirates fans. I really do. They screwed the whole thing up. Just deplorable, taking down Roberto Clemente and his number and, honoring him in the wall. And, now they can't win any baseball games. What do you know? I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals, they are going to extra innings, a scoreless ball game. So if you're into runs, if you're into action, if you're into hits, I mean, this is not your game. It is interesting. Guys, throw that back up for the fine folks watching if you can for 1 sec. I do find this interesting. It always, if you've been paying attention, it always shifts in terms of the Vegas odds when you start talking about, who can win on the money line. And, then when you go to the bottom of a frame and with the stupid asinine ghost runner on second base, it's interesting. I might even take a flyer here on the Cardinals, just based upon the fact that, okay, bottom of the 10th, you don't trust the Pirates to do anything right in terms of being fundamentally sound, but we are scoreless. Mitch Keller did pitch well. If you had any of his props today, 6 strikeouts, 4 hits, 7+ for Mitch Keller. Bottom of the 10th, we are scoreless in Pittsburgh with the Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Paul Skeens got hit. Worst performance of his, albeit short, Major League Baseball career. Rare that you see Paul Skeens not have anything. It's cold in Pittsburgh, not making excuses, but that was obviously frustrating to watch. The Mets are losing to the Florida Marlins 2-0 as we speak right now in the 7th inning. And the Mets have been piping hot. Pitching has been great. I have been dead wrong on the Mets so far to start this season. I'll tell you, the money line right now of plus 260 for the Mets in comeback fashion kind of interests me. I think the Miami Marlins are a terrible baseball team, but even if the Mets lose today and go on to lose, that is obviously an excellent start to the campaign here for New York, and they'll take the series with Miami, and the pitching has been excellent, and this team is on one hell of a streak, especially at home to start the campaign. The New York Yankees, my New York Yankees, your New York Yankees, our New York Yankees, we have been unable to get hits and drive in any runs all series against Detroit until literally just now. The Yankees are on the board, baby. 2-0. This thing was scoreless going into the 7th. Yankees able to get a couple of runs. This would be huge, all things considered, for the Yankees. We told you yesterday, the Yankees were dead on arrival, had no chance with Skubal going up against Cookie Carrasco, and obviously that proved to be the case. My guy, Benny Rice, with a runner on and 2 outs, just hit a home run for my New York Yankees. So That's huge. Ben Rice, by the way, is hitting .314 on the season. I love him in that leadoff spot and that DH spot for the New York Yankees. So that is good stuff. Cody Bellinger is back in the lineup this after he missed yesterday, after he had food poisoning, eating bad wings. So Yankees right now, and it's minus 1,300 on the money line. I do think Yankees will hold on and get the dub here. And the Texas Rangers and the Chicago Cubs are underway. The Rangers, by the way, betting the Cubs yesterday with Patty Corbin on the mound. Betting against Patrick Corbin is, basically free money at this stage. So the Rangers needed to bounce back. They're up 1-0. Corey Seager with a solo home run. That's good stuff. If you had Seager with a home run in this game and had a homer prop, good for my fantasy team, good for my son Theo's fantasy team. Cubs, Rangers, that's a fun one this afternoon. We will keep you updated in terms of all the day baseball. And coming up in 40 minutes, we have the Padres taking on the A's. I mean, the fact that these games are being played in Sacramento, deplorable, awful, just an embarrassment for Major League Baseball. I know that you can make the case that, you look at it and the A's have the pitching matchup today. I don't care. Padres on the money line, you're welcome. Orioles and Diamondbacks should be a fun one today. And, that's one that we will be monitoring. That's coming up in about 40 minutes from now. That's a good matchup. And you have the Orioles as dogs in this one. Arizona is favored. So I think that is a good one today on a getaway day for a 3:40 Eastern time start at Chase Field in Arizona. I like the Diamondbacks a lot in this one. And we have a fun one with the Giants with Justin Verlander on the bump taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Both these teams, have been exciting to start the season. San Francisco, what a treat. Listen, Giants with Justin Verlander on the mound, kind of like the sound of that one. So, baseball, obviously, all afternoon long here on Make It Rain with Adam Schein. And we've got the Masters tomorrow. I can't wait. There's nothing like the sights and the sounds and the feel of Augusta and the Masters. And we can't wait to watch. And we can't wait to bet. Now, obviously, Scotty Scheffler is favored, and, he should be. And this is like vintage, back in the day, Tiger Woods kind of favorite, right? Like, he is a monster favorite to win at Augusta, and, I think a lot of smart people, Jason Sobel from SiriusXM Masters Radio, PGA Tour Radio, had him on my radio show today. He's going to be with us on Make It Rain with Adam Schein later this week. He's picking Scotty Scheffler, and I get it. Why not? Of course, that's a monster story. He can become the 4th repeat Masters champ since Tiger Woods in 01-02. Rory McIlroy obviously looking for that career Grand Slam, and it's kind of sad and it's crazy. Rolled into one, and he has not won a major since 2014. He's got the second best odds when you take a look at the board. Scheffler plus 400 to win. Rory plus 650. I do think that when you take a look at the rest of the field, it's pretty interesting with some names. And I want to give you some of my best bets and picks, and we'll go through the reasons why. Because here are my best bets, and I'm picking Collin Morikawa to win. 18-1, baby. I love the way he's playing. I think it's his time to shine. I think he absolutely is going to take care of business. I can't pick Rory to win it all and get the green jacket. I need to see it. But I think he's going to play well. So Rory at plus 130 to finish in the top 5. I dig that one a lot. I'm going to roll with Xander here at plus 160 to finish in the top 10. Oberg plus 150. The L Train, Ludwig Oberg. I like him a lot. And I want you to take a look at Corey Connors, baby. I've done a lot of prep on this one, and he's made the cuts in 5 of his previous 7 Masters appearances. This is his 8th Masters appearance. He's got 3 top 10 finishes in the Masters. I think he's been playing well. I like Connors. There's a lot of good juice on Connors. It's plus 850 for the top 5 for Corey Connors. I'm gonna hedge it a little bit and say top 10. Still really good juice on plus 330 for Corey Connors to finish in the top 10. And I really think that Connors can absolutely get it done. Remember, for Morikawa, finished career best, tied for third, the 2024 Masters. And, he entered Sunday one stroke behind Scotty Scheffler, and he shot 6 strokes worse than Scotty last year. One of 2 golfers to finish in the top 10 each of the past 3 Masters, the other being Scotty Scheffler. So that's why I say it's Collin Morikawa's time to shine, and he's going to be able to take care of business. Listen, I like Xander Schauffele a lot, and he's seeking his 3rd win in his past 4 major starts. And I think that when you look at the ability for Xander to finish in the top 10, I think there's a lot of reasons to believe that he absolutely can do this. Would be the first golfer since Jordan Spieth in 2015 to win consecutive majors. He doesn't feel pressure. He applies pressure. There's a lot of trust, in my opinion, when it comes to Xander. And in terms of Ludwig Åberg and his second Masters appearance, listen, 2024 came in second place and was the best finish in any major debut since Keegan Bradley won the PGA Championship in 2011. So I am a firm believer here that the moment will not be too big for Åberg. We saw it last year. We've seen his ability to shine and dominate and handle everything that comes with playing at Augusta. So listen, I feel good about these. Put a lot of time into it. I can't wait to bet on the Masters. And Morikawa locked that puppy in 18-1 to get the green jacket. And I'll tell you, DeChambeau interests me as well. And I'm rooting for him. He's been able to bomb the ball and, do a great job on so many different courses. Augusta's been a bit of a personal hell for him. But Morikawa, the official Make It Rain with Adam Schein prediction to win the Masters.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The VSiN Summer Special is here, and it's the best deal of the season. For just $59, get the full VSiN Pro access to everything we do from now through August the 1st. At 50% off the regular monthly price. From Augusta to the NFL Draft, MLB action, NBA, NHL playoffs, Kentucky Derby, VSiN has you covered all summer long. Sign up now and get the expert picks, including all our best bets for the Masters. Exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app. Plus, our Kentucky Derby betting guide and NFL betting guide when it drops this summer. Giving you a head start on the football season. Every sport, every edge, one price. Get full access now through August 1st for just $59. VSiN.com/subscribe. At VSiN.com/subscribe. Welcome back, Make It Rain with Adam Schein. And it's time to shine on basketball. And I was absolutely sick to my stomach that Luka Doncic got chucked out of the Lakers' loss to the Thunder. And if I was someone who bets on the Lakers to win and had the Lakers money line, I would have been absolutely positively livid. I would have been aggravated. This was self-serving, clownish, cartoonish, look at me, hot garbage from the official last night. You cannot throw Luka Doncic out of this ballgame. You can't do it because he's jawing with the fan. You can debate if you want if it benefits Luka Doncic to yell at fans, and, he likes to yell at everyone, and that's his game. If you're a ref in that spot, blind eyes, deaf ears. It's not about you. This is not a ref show. And think about how big this game is for the league, for the Lakers, for Lakers OKC. The Lakers are trying to ultimately get the 3 seed in the Western Conference. And they just destroyed OKC, the best team in the NBA. My preseason pick, my current pick, my pick all the time, always to win a championship. And they went into OKC and destroyed the Thunder and shot the lights out on Sunday. And Doncic was great. And, Finney Smith and Reeves and LeBron James was excellent. And the Thunder were motivated to prove that would not be the case. And the Lakers are playing great. It was 108-107 LA, 7:40 to go. And then you saw the OKC Thunder led by SGA, who pumped in over 40 again, 29-12 the rest of the way after Doncic got thrown out. That is deplorable. That is awful. Now, the Lakers need to get that 3 seed, and that's huge for a couple of reasons. A, home court. B, matchups. C, you want to try to not only win in the first round, but avoid OKC in round number 2. And how great would it be for the league if we get Lakers versus OKC for the Western Conference Finals? This really pissed me off last night. And if I had Lakers money line, I would have been absolutely livid. Changed the total complexion of the game. But now the Lakers need to dust themselves off and get ready for what is going to be a wild game with Luka Doncic returning to Dallas. And, Doncic talked about it after the game last night, and emotions are going to be sky high. I would never take Doncic props tonight. I think we learned that last time when you see what happened with Luka against the Mavericks, albeit in Los Angeles. This one's going to be even more emotionally charged with Luka returning to Dallas as, obviously that's his team, his guys, his fans, and, I'm sure the crowd is going to be extra fired up tonight. If I was a Mavericks fan, I would give him a thunderous ovation. And the Lakers, it's pretty cut and dry. There aren't too many scenarios, which is good for the league. The Lakers scenario is cut and dry. Win 2 of the next 3, and you're the 3 seed. And there's no excuse tonight against Dallas. The spread is 4.5. I expect Los Angeles to win. I expect Los Angeles to cover. I think that this will be a big Reeves game. I think they need to get, guys in addition to Doncic. Look, I hope he puts in 35 on Dallas and, gives the proverbial middle finger to Nico Harrison every time he nails a 3. But, I think that Doncic is clearly going to be emotional. But J.J. Redick needs to make sure they get a win. Again, 2 of 3 down the stretch. They have Houston, which is going to be really tough. Blazers, which should be really easy. Obviously, AD going up against his former team. This needs to be a victory without question for the LA Lakers. And I feel confident that Doncic and company will be able to get it in Luka's return to Dallas, which I still can't believe Mavericks made that trade. I can't believe it. It's the theater of the absurd. It's the worst deal in the history of sports. We've talked about it. The most stunning trade in the history of sports. Absolutely, positively insane and crazy. And honestly, I think when it's all said and done, you will see by virtue of the scoreboard tonight that Doncic will get his revenge on the Dallas Mavericks. I do not want to hear a Knicks fan out there stress the positive. Oh, it was close last night against Boston. Please. That was a terrible loss for the Knicks. I am a diehard Knicks fan, as you know. I watched every minute of the game. My son Theo and I were pretty fired up. We're watching it. And the fact that Tom Thibodeau didn't foul at the end of regulation when it's a 3-point game and prevent the 3, that's just crazy. The drive by Jalen Brunson, the body control, the dish to Hart to give the Knicks the lead, lays it in. I mean, that was incredible. 11.9 to go in regulation. And they decide not to foul. Joe Mazzulla for the Celtics decided not to call a timeout. He wanted the chaos on the Knicks end. And my goodness, was there chaos. Knicks didn't foul, which was crazy. And, OG Anunoby's been an unbelievable defensive player for the Knicks all season, especially great when Brunson was out. And Tatum with that step in just absolutely just juked OG out of his shorts. The step back, dagger, rise and fire 3. I mean, cold-blooded, man. That was, I felt that as a Knicks fan. I'm not going to mention that Tatum traveled. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to mention that he took 4 or 5 steps. That's not the point of this. Then you knew it was going to be trouble in overtime. And, you saw, obviously, the unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis, stick it to his former team. Boston was trying hard in this one. I know Brown didn't play the requisite minutes. Even though you have this team with the Boston Celtics locked into the 2 seed, this game absolutely mattered to Boston. And I don't want to hear, well, it was 23 points, 27 points, 13 points. The 3 prior games the Knicks lost against the Boston Celtics. The key word on the lower third on your screen right there is again. Knicks lose again. They lost all 4 to Boston. They didn't beat the Celtics, the Cavs, or the Thunder all year, the 3 best teams in the NBA. There's no way I could be inspired. the Knicks played better. But how about Mikal Bridges dropping that ball that was thrown to him on the sideline? Literally just fumbled it and, looked away and took his eye off it. And I thought Bridges was going to be an amazing acquisition for the Knicks. That has not panned out. I've been very disappointed in how he has played. And there's no positive in my mind that can be stressed here when it comes to the Knicks and losing again to the Boston Celtics. That Bucks Timberwolves fourth quarter was wild, man. And I'll be honest, I'm sorry for anyone who had a T-Wolves ticket. I thought that game was over. Milwaukee outscored the Timberwolves 40-13 in a wild fourth quarter comeback. The win probability was 99.9%. It was 95 to 71 in the fourth quarter. Outscored them 39-8 in the final 10 minutes. And, Minnesota has so much to play for here. And, you got all these teams that are tied with each other, all, jumbled in 5-8 in the West. And you can't lose a game like that. Not like the Bucks are known as a team. I know the game is in Milwaukee. Great coach or battle-tested or great heart. That is a deplorable, unacceptable loss for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just about as dreadful as it gets, as bad as it gets. Flip side, the Warriors were able to take care of business last night, and, they were able to just absolutely blister the Suns. I got a lot of things right in our preseason picks. Phoenix was not one of them. I could not have been more incorrect in terms of Golden State and in terms of the Phoenix Suns and what ultimately transpired there. And, they just got absolutely destroyed. So now you have a spot in a situation where the Warriors are able to win, the Clippers able to win, Grizz able to win. The only team that lost was Minnesota, which fell now to 8th. And look at all these games that have impact on 5-8 in the standings. Nuggets Kings tonight. This will be the first game for Denver post Malone. Get it? And I think that Denver's absolutely going to take care of business. I think Jokic is going to put up a triple-double. I think Sacramento does not have a prayer in this one. I can't stress enough how much I love the Nuggets laying the 4. So I think that Denver will certainly have some zip and some energy in game 1 post Malone. And then, of course, we got the Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs tonight. And, Golden State knows what they're doing. This number, I would never touch it. It just scares the hell out of me. Spurs are not trying to win, obviously. They don't have anyone healthy, obviously. 17 points, a little too rich for my blood. But there's no chance Golden State loses this basketball game.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The Masters is here, and our partner, Profit X, is offering the best odds all tournament long. Profit X is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states. First of its kind in the United States. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against sportsbooks. Exchange guarantees you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download Profit X today with the code VSiN. Earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Welcome back. Make It Rain with Adam Schein. I hope you were paying attention to when we talked about placing a live bet on the St. Louis Cardinals. It's how we started the show. It's why we did this to start the program today. And I hope you were paying attention when the odds were plus 350. The Cardinals have officially taken the lead right now on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And right now, the money line is at minus 250 on DraftKings. So when we gave it to you exactly 30 minutes ago to start the show, you could have gotten it a plus 350, and now it's minus 250. The Cardinals are up 1-0 on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sometimes you just got to follow the trends, and sure, obviously it's an embarrassment that they still have this stupid rule in Major League Baseball with the ghost runner, and it's embarrassing, and Rob Manfred doesn't know anything about baseball, but it is 1-0. The Cardinals are leading the Pittsburgh Pirates here in terms of a game that is being played at Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh as we speak. And now that game is officially going, by the way, to the bottom of the frame in Pittsburgh. Marlins have started to pour it on against the Mets. It is 5-0. The Marlins over the Mets as we speak. Max Fried really deserves so much credit for what the Yankees have been able to do today, and the Yankees signed him to that monster contract. And listen, you want to talk about in a season where there's no Garrett Cole, not going to throw a pitch, you need an ace, you need a stopper. Obviously, Yankees were having issues scoring runs and issues in terms of a losing streak. Here's Max Fried. Give me the ball, guys. 11 strikeouts, no walks, 5 hits. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. I'll tell you, as a Yankee fan, I am so fired up. This is why we love the Max Fried signing, why we thought he was going to be a perfect acquisition for the Yankees. Won a World Series, pitched for the Braves, big market team, grew up in L.A., understands the deal when it comes to wearing the interlock at NY, but you needed to see him when the pressure was on, obviously. And I know it might sound crazy. It's a random Wednesday early in the season in Detroit. This is what an ace does. Gets on the bump after a losing streak. Hop on my back, boys. I got you today. My game, my mound, my baseball, my victory. Man, I love it. And that's just excellent stuff here from Max Fried, delivering the goods for the New York Yankees. It's 2-0. The New York Yankees are taking care of business. And then, of course, we have the Rangers and the Cubs. And it was, last as we checked, it was 1-0. Rangers are pouring it on. 5-1. The Texas Rangers are just bludgeoning the Chicago Cubs. 5-1 as we speak when you look at the Cubs and the Rangers game. So that is the latest in terms of the up-to-date for Major League Baseball. A's going up against the Padres, and Padres are actually dogs in this one. I can't stress enough how much I dig the Padres at plus 114. We have the Orioles taking on the Diamondbacks coming up in a couple of minutes as well. And, that obviously is a game that I think favors Arizona. And they are the favorites in this one at minus 120. So that's one to keep your eye on as well with the Diamondbacks and the Baltimore Orioles. Over-under is 9 there. And then, of course, we have the Cincinnati Reds, and they are going up against the Giants and Justin Verlander in San Francisco. So this is really going to be a really good day for Major League Baseball with day ball and then, of course, into the games at night. There are a couple of other games tonight in Major League Baseball and throughout the rest of the slate that I think are interesting. Astros and the Mariners. And listen, last night they had the real Luis Castillo on the bump, and I have him on my fantasy team, and all the reports are greatly exaggerated about Luis Castillo and the miles per hour being down. He was phenomenal. Mariners did lose an extra inning, so today they turned to Luis F. Castillo. If you're old enough and remember, and I am and I do, the two Bobby Joneses who pitched for the Mets. Yeah, you got back-to-back days of Luis Castillo. I understand that why the Astros are favored in this one. Kevin Gausman is going up against Tanner Houck tonight. That should be a good one with the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. We bet Kevin Gausman to beat the Mets. Mets always win opening day at home. It's always that false hope that they give to Mets fans. So I'm too spooked to bet Gausman again. But I was not surprised to see the Blue Jays, take care of business the other night. I do think Toronto has a pitching advantage in this one, but we're not going to touch that game. But that is certainly noteworthy to me. At some point, the Dodgers have to be able to win a baseball game, right? And I'm only saying that, a little tongue-in-cheek. They are in a 3-game losing streak. By the way, good for the Nats. I think this is cool. Washington, their good young talent has really done an excellent job stepping up and doing an excellent job emerging. And, Washington has been fun to watch. Dodgers on the run line tonight. I do think that is a pretty good play, all things considered. I don't think that the Dodgers are going to keep losing. And, losing a game against Philly and then losing a couple in Washington. No panic button being pushed, but I do think that is most certainly noteworthy in terms of what has transpired. Phillies and Braves interest me a lot as well. And obviously, that is going to be a really tough spot, in terms of what is going on pitching matchup-wise for Atlanta. I do think that the Braves coming back after the Schwarber bomb last night. Listen, Braves are off to as bad a start as you can have if you're a fan of the Atlanta Braves. I don't think there's any question about it. But I do have to give credit where credit is due here for Atlanta and what they've been able to do and how they've been able to, come back in that game last night. Having said that, I do think that the Philadelphia Phillies tonight are a pretty good bet. Walker against Holmes is the pitching matchup, and I would expect Philadelphia to have the ability to bounce back. Twins Royals catches my eye. Cole Reagans was sensational last night. I'm Royals obsessed. I'm Cole Reagans obsessed. I can't get enough. If there was ever a night to bet on the Minnesota Twins, I feel like tonight would be the night. I like Joe Ryan a lot. I think he is an excellent pitcher. And I do think that the under tonight would certainly be in play in terms of the 8. Feels like a bit of an inflated number. Lugo is very underrated as well. Rock solid, and I'm a big believer in what he brings to the table. So I think that is something that is noteworthy here when you take a look at it from a baseball perspective. And, what the Royals were able to do yesterday, what Reagans was able to do, I was not surprised in any way, shape, or form. And it's interesting, when you look at the landscape here, even, albeit early with some of these races and how they're starting in Major League Baseball, that Central is wild, man. And I still think, and remember, we bet this preseason, Royals win the division, Tigers finish second, both teams make the playoffs, and, albeit in flip-flop order, Detroit right now is in first place in the division with the Royals in second. I do think that'll eventually change. How about a little random love for the Angels? We talked about the Angels before the season started. I didn't play it, but I did tell you I like their over. They're 7-3 on the season. The Rays have rightly crashed back down to earth. Another opportunity here for the Angels to get another dub. So that's going to be interesting to see how that transpires. And, they're underway with the Padres and the A's. The fact that they are playing these games in this embarrassing ballpark is just a disgrace. And the fact that Rob Manfred was, allowing this to happen, I can't stress enough how much I root against this team in every possible way, every possible turn. I hope the A's lose every game, and specifically, nobody shows up in Sacramento. Do you want to know where the money is really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you the insight into where the sharp action is landing. Circa is known for taking big bets from professional bettors, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just the public money, but the kind of wagers that, at the end of the day, have the ability to move the lines. See the percentage of bets versus the percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping make you smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN Summer Special. Get it right now for only $59. It's always summertime at VSiN. This price goes until August the 1st. Go to vsin.com/subscribe.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Welcome back, Make It Rain with Adam Schein here on VSiN. Time for our news, notes, nuggets, nightly plays, and my goodness, it was a wild night with the Stars and the Canucks. And if you had a Dallas tickets, I mean, my goodness, that was zany. I mean, it was money in the bank. It was over. I mean, you were about to hit Dallas on the puck line, and then all of a sudden, you have nothing. The Canucks scored 3 goals in the final minute to stun the Stars in overtime. And, look, Dallas was trying to clinch a 1 seed in home ice. And I'll tell you, and I don't want to sound like I'm overreacting, but I don't love this Stars team, right? I can't sit here and tell you that I would be surprised on anything, but if you take a look at the odds to win a Stanley Cup and to win a championship, and we've shown this over the last few weeks a lot, obviously, as the season is winding down. And I don't believe in Dallas. I know Edmonton needs to get healthy out west, obviously, but I do not believe in the betting favorite. I would not touch them. I think that the Avalanche are a better bet. I think the Oilers are a better bet. I think the Golden Knights are a better bet out west. And I think in terms of the East, in terms of winning a Stanley Cup, look, Lightning, Panthers make a lot of sense. I still think it'll end up being the Leafs or the Capitals. That's still where my brain is. And, preseason we had the Oilers over the Maple Leafs in the Cup final. But I know it's a bit of a snapshot, but I've been saying no to Dallas for the entire season. So I think that at the end of the day, we are looking at Dallas being able to, this is going to be a harbinger of things to come where you just don't trust the Dallas Stars here to ultimately be a team that can capture the Stanley Cup. Maybe lost in the shuffle with all the drama and the insanity with Luka and the Western Conference and Celtics and Knicks last night. How about a round of applause for the Cleveland Cavaliers, clinching the 1 seed, demolishing the Bulls, covering that 15.5-point spread. I never would have touched it. We talked about that yesterday. No Donovan Mitchell, rolled his ankle, stepped on someone's foot over the weekend. He should be fine for the playoffs, not worried about that. But Cleveland left, no doubt. Cleveland left, no confusion, no ambiguity, and Cleveland was able to roll. And I think that it's interesting here. When you look at the Eastern Conference standings and you look at the odds, Boston is still the favorite to win the conference at minus 130. And Cleveland is at plus 210. Listen, I can appreciate the Celtics and their experience. I can appreciate the Celtics and how they bomb threes and, on the heels of the Olympics for different reasons. Tatum, Brown feel like they have something to prove. Boston's well coached. I think the only thing you could say that's anti-Cleveland is lack of experience. And I have so much trust in Kenny Atkinson and so much trust in Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen and what this team does and Garland and their depth and the bench and the way they play together. I mean, I like the Cavs. We've been saying it consistently. I like Cleveland and OKC. And I know, you could write your old think pieces on what that kind of small market scenario would do for the NBA. That's not my job. And guys, take a look at this to win an NBA title, right? I still, and I'm picking the Thunder. I don't want you to misinterpret, but we have been saying this for a while now as Vegas has not adjusted the odds for the Cavs at all. The best bet on the board is Cleveland. And listen, I have the Thunder and the Cavs meeting in the NBA Finals, so I'm picking OKC. I'd like to throw a couple of bucks on the Cavs here. Plus 650, that's disrespectful. That is disrespectful here when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. NFL draft is 2 weeks and a day away, and I can't wait for it. I am so excited for it. And Jackson Dart is visiting a whole slew of quarterback-needy teams. And listen, I think that one of the best prop bets for the NFL draft is over on 2.5 when it comes to quarterbacks being selected in the first round. I think that obviously you're going to see Cam Ward go number 1 to Tennessee, and Shedeur Sanders is going to get drafted in the first round. I think Jackson Dart is absolutely going in the first round, and I think taking the over on 2.5, that's the smart money play when it comes to the odds for quarterbacks that'll be selected. Take a look at this, though, and Vegas has adjusted here. I mean, the anticipation is Jackson Dart is going to be picked in the first 24 picks, and that's why the under is at minus 210. And I think Dart, I'm just prepping you on this, right? I think there's a real shot Jackson Dart goes as high as 9 in this draft. I think the Saints might take him at 9, and I wouldn't even bat an eye if the Saints picked him over Shedeur Sanders. I personally think Dart and Sanders are both going to be great players. I'm big fans of both. Very good to great quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, difference-making quarterbacks in the NFL. You know, I view Shedeur Sanders as someone who could be, you know, Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott, and I think Dart's going to be a stud. You put him in the right system with the right QB coach and the right offensive coordinator and head coach, and New Orleans fits the bill there, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think Pittsburgh is absolutely going to be in play. I think they should prioritize someone like Jackson Dart. And I can't stress enough how important it is when it's all said and done for the Giants. When the Browns and Giants, and Adam Schefter reporting the Giants have a lot of interest in Jackson Dart, and Schefter reporting that he has spent considerable time with the Giants, the Rams. I can see the Rams taking Dart in the first round if he's there. And the Giants, the Rams, and the Saints, as we mentioned, he's visiting the Browns. They're going to fly to Vegas and going to hang with the Raiders. And our Emmy Award-winning audio director, our guy Schein, who is a big, big Raider guy and obviously has the Emmys to prove it. I don't see the Raiders taking Jackson Dart. I think that the Browns and the Giants could absolutely trade back into the end of round 1, especially the Giants. I think it's imperative here. And, you know, I don't want to hear about Milroe. I mean, he is not accurate. He's not the kind of quarterback I think that, you know, a team like that should invest in. So that's where I'm at right now when it comes to Jackson Dart, who I really believe is going to be an excellent quarterback in the NFL. And I think the Giants, absolutely, when they don't take the quarterback, when they take either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, trade back into the first round and find a way to take someone like Jackson Dart, who I think will be excellent playing for Brian Daboll. Again, we are just a day away from the Masters. When we are on the air tomorrow, the Masters is going to be well underway. Here are the best bets for the Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Our best bets for the Masters, all odds are via DraftKings. Rory McIlroy, I don't have him winning. Rory to finish in the top 5 at plus 130. Our guy Ludwig Oberg to finish in the top 10, plus 150. Xander Schauffele, throw up the X, to finish in the top 10 at plus 160. Corey Connors finish in the top 10, plus 330. And Colin Morikawa to win the entire thing, get the green jacket. We're going to go with 18-1 for Colin Morikawa to take care of business at Augusta. Time right now to give out our best bets. Brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VSiN. G-Bank is upping the all-ante with a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First, new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening receive a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the first 30 days of the account opening, you're going to receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank. VSiN.com/GBank. It is subject to the old credit approval. Terms, also conditions, absolutely apply. We mentioned this one before. We're going to slam it home now and make it our official best bet. I like the Nuggets post Malone to run circles around the Sacramento Kings. Little Post Malone circles reference. Get it? Nuggets slaying the 4.5 against Sacramento. Maybe in Sacramento they'll be too busy with the A's, not even paying attention. We will go with the Denver Nuggets to respond to the firing of their coach and general manager right before the playoffs, and we will lay the 4.5 with the Denver Nuggets. Right after Make It Rain with Adam Schein, we got Follow the Money with my guys, Mitch and Paulie. What a show they had yesterday. I was watching it live. I'm on the elliptical after the show, watching the VSiN Watch app. I couldn't get enough. They've got another unbelievable show planned for you today. Then it's VSiN Primetime featuring my guy Tim Murray, my guy Jonathan Von Tobel, and of course Matty Humans. You gotta love sports. And then it's Cashing Out with Joe Sorallo, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Really looking forward to that. Thanks to our guy Sean, our guy Matt, our guy Larry in the Vegas studios. Thanks to our incredible producer Mike Cohen. We'll talk to you manana. Make it rain with Adam Schein.